Hello there and welcome to Shuttlebay 4. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes, there's loads of them. Because this time we are discussing our favourite and least favourite Star Trek doctors.
I've got one word for you all. Doctors. Should we do doctors?
Dun, dun, dun. Can I go first?
Go for it.
Because I get mine out of the way then. Because
Yeah.
other people have probably given this a lot more thought than I have. So in my list, I've got 7 doctors. Right, that's just as far as I went. So my least favourite is Phlox. Now, I don't really know whether that's because he's from Enterprise or just because I really don't like him, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Phlox. In 6, I've got Crusher.
No.
I used to really like Crusher.
You're going to have to explain that, Steve.
What?
I don't like Phlox. And then move on. Why don't you like him?
I don't know. Just something about him. I don't like him. He annoys me.
Face.
Yeah, so 6, I've got Crusher. I used to really like her growing up, and then I've just gone right off of her. I don't really know why. I don't think there's anything particularly remarkable or memorable about her, other than the fact that she keeps trying to bone Picard. You know, short of that, what else is there? She tries to bone a ghost. Wow, score. She's just a bit unremarkable for me.
Yeah.
Bashir is in 5th. Bashir, for me, he always knows the answer. He'll always fix everything. It's just like, is anything a bloody challenge, mate? Does anybody else get a chance to do anything? Why is it always you? Because you're genetically enhanced. Oh, you're wonder child. You know, he's always got the bloody answer.
So you laugh at the superior intellect then, basically.
I do a little bit, yeah. In 4th place, I've got Pulaski. I like her because, as somebody mentioned earlier, she's abrasive, and I love that about her. She just does not take hostages. She don't give a shit. If she thinks something, she says it. She's got an issue with Data, and she slaps him down repeatedly. And she then comes to respect him, I think, in the end, in some weird way. 3rd, Mbenga in Strange New World. I like him in that. The whole thing with the Klingon ambassador just sold it for me. I loved that episode. That was such a thinker. It was good. In 2nd place for me is the EMH. I just think he, like we've said on a million occasions, and it's going to be said 1,000 times here tonight, he just gets all the best lines. I like with him the way that he went from the very beginning when he was first activated, and he had no people skills, he had none of that, and then they developed him and he moved on, and then he helped Kest, and he helped Seven, and he sort of became this almost like a connoisseur of human behaviour and etiquette. You know, and I think it's funny, and I really enjoyed the episode where he occupies Seven's body and he gets pissed, and you know, with his cat. I thought that was a brilliant episode. I thought it was really funny, and it was just the way they did that with his character. I just thought was brilliant. And in 1st place for me is McCoy.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Just because he is the original. Now, the EMH couldn't have done the whole I'm a doctor, not a whatever, without the man that started it all, which was McCoy.
I'm a doctor, not a dragon slayer.
So he's, for me, the godfather of medicine. He set that ball rolling. So for me, he'll always come top. End of story, really. Oh, did I mention I don't like Phlox? I just
It's got a pancake face.
A pancake face.
Oh, don't start. When he inflates his face like that, or that fucking stupid grin. Oh,
that's so funny. I love it. It's brilliant.
I want to get Pulaski and beat him to death.
So I'll go from top to bottom. For much the same reasons, I like Bones. Bones is my favourite doctor.
I'm a doctor, not a mechanic.
100%. It sets a lot of the scene for the rest of the franchise with Bones. So everyone's quite stiff and Starfleety, and he's like, "Yeah, you do that. I'll just do my job. I don't need to be any of that to be good at my job." And I like that. He's a real friend. He's a friend to Kirk. And I think he's a friend to Spock. Spock's quite a complex person, and I think the notion of friendship to him is quite strange. But Bones kind of just breaks his balls until he gets that friendship. And that comes to full circle in Star Trek 5, the three of them go camping. He's an explorer. He's the genuine article, Bones. He's caring. He's a big character. And I like some of the lines he's got. So in Star Trek 2, when he gives Kirk his glasses and says, usually I'd prescribe Red Nox 5, but I'm allergic to it. And he gives him the glasses. I don't know what to say. And Bones looks at him and goes, well, you could say, thank you.
I don't know what to say. Well, you could say thank you.
That to and fro between two friends was brilliant. He gives Star Trek a human element from the outset. And I like that about Bones. Next for me is Joseph Mbenga. Not so much original series because he's just like a staff doctor, but definitely Strange New Worlds. He's a father. He's a warrior, like a hard case as well, like special forces. He's a badass, and I like that. The situation with his daughter, where he keeps her in stasis. I mean, he's not out there for Starfleet. He's out there looking for a cure for his daughter, and he keeps her in stasis until such time as he can restore her to life. And he just has brief flashes and brief moments. And I relate to that story so much. And it's nice that they worked that in there from a father's perspective as well. It doesn't define him as a character. It's not very one-dimensional with that. Like, he's just this father looking for a thing. There's other elements to his character. There's dimensions to him. And in Strange New Worlds, they really, really did that well with Mbenga. And I can see why he's one of the most popular characters on the show, and probably in Star Trek today, because he has that dimension, and there's a lot to relate with Mbenga. Next on the list is Hugh Culber from Disco. And that might surprise a lot of people, but again, he's a real character, the genuine article. He's a really good doctor as well. He's got a good emotional grounding. He's not afraid to make decisions that are good for him, even though they might hurt for now. The genuine person comes to life. The only thing about Hugh Culber is, because it's the Michael Burnham show, he doesn't have enough room to play with the character. Wilson Cruz can't develop him enough. But if there was more space in Disco, I think that he would be as much of a heavyweight character as Mbenga. Next is Julian Bashir. So I see a lot of similarities between Julian Bashir and Alexander Siddiq, actually, the guy that plays him. So I don't know if anyone remembers his first breakout scene where he's like, "This is frontier medicine. This is exactly what I wanted.
This will be perfect. Real frontier medicine."
I think that's also a reflection of the actor saying, this is real acting. This is what I wanted to do. This is out there. This is a massive post for me. This is a big part for me. And that young guy doing that breakout part in the series is actually the same as that young guy getting that frontier medicine post as well. He's trying to sap the life out of life. He's trying to get the most he can out of it. Hangs out in a holosuite. He's a very gifted doctor. He works well in the storylines as well, Bashir. He doesn't steal the scene. He doesn't steal the episode. He can just come in and go, "This is the situation. I'll give you some time." And then blend out, just fade out and let people have like their thing, like Worf and Kern and all that. Like he delivers the news, then he's out of the scene. I like that. There may be others, but he has a friend outside of Starfleet in Garak. In all the other shows, everyone's just friends with Starfleet. You know what I mean? If someone comes in for an episode and makes friends and then, like we've said, just leaves them and we wonder what happens there. Bashir as a character is a big enough person to make friends outside of Starfleet, and he sits down and has lunch with Garak on a regular and just shoots the shit. None of it's really Starfleet. It's more just getting to know the guy. And I like the fact that he's got a friend outside of Starfleet. My favourite Bashir scene is the one where he's with Data and he's like, "You've got a pulse, you're breathing, you've got that." I thought that was amazing.
Is something wrong, Doctor? Well, you're breathing.
For me, that was a really, really good crossover. Next after that is Catherine Pulaski. Catherine, she's got a real school teacher vibe for me. A lot of my teachers when I was at school were like that, rigid, stern old bitches. Do you know what I mean? She's better acted than Crusher, I feel. There's more depth to the character, and there's room to grow. There's dimensions there. There's levels. There's prejudice, but she's a gifted doctor. She's constantly arguing with Picard all the time. Like, "No, I'm not doing that. F*** you." I like that.
Well, you didn't
But
like
she's
him when
warm
Burnham
enough.
did it.
But she's warm enough and big enough to change. And I'll give you an example. So she goes out playing with Data and LaForge when they're doing the Sherlock Holmes thing. She turns up in the period dress and goes into the holodeck with them to play. And she's giving Data some arse room. She's spending time with him. She's giving him some space to impress upon her. Like, I want to get to know you a bit more. Maybe I was harsh. Maybe I was a bit judgmental. Maybe I was wrong. And she does actually come out with that she's wrong. In fact, when Data's playing that finger game with the dude,
Yeah.
she's rooting for him. Big time, like, him up, Data. Mess him up. She gets behind Data in here. So she starts off very, I'm not talking to you. You're a machine. I'm a doctor. You need an engineer. And in the end, she does strike this friendship, which is different to Burnham. She grows as a character. And I think she helped Star Trek The Next Generation find its feet as a series, to be honest. That character moved the series on, where Crusher would have added nothing. So Pulaski over Crusher. Other doctors, now, Phlox comes down there. I like John Billingsley probably better than any of those other actors. And Dan will relate to this because I think he feels the same way. I rate John Billingsley as a showman. I think his character is weak, but I like the guy. And some of the other real fringe sci-fi stuff that he's done, I like the guy, but I haven't let that cloud my judgment on the character. The character itself, wishy-washy. Going all the way down, there's other doctors, but I'll get straight to it. The Doctor from Voyager, probably my least favourite character out of all the Doctors. He would just piss me off. He's really arrogant, and he's kind of just samey. He just drops these one-liners, everyone. And I know that I'm going against the grain and everyone thinks the Doctor's great. I think he's shit. Well acted. Bob Picardo does a really good job with what the material he's got. But the character for me doesn't do it. I find him annoying. And he does actually think that he actually genuinely believes that he's the best creature, being, entity in the universe. And no one's better than him, ever. And I find him condescending. And below all of that, for the same reasons as you, Steve, is Crusher. It's at the very bottom from my favourite series, but the worst Doctor. I mean, what you got on Crusher? Well, I've got nothing. Nothing. What's going on?
She's very bland.
Yeah, but I've got nothing. I've got nothing to say. So I always used to rate Cisco for being a single parent, but actually the Next Generation had more single. And I've said this in WhatsApp. Worf was a single parent. Crusher was a single parent. That wasn't really explored, not to my satisfaction anyway. I just don't rate her as a Doctor. So that's my pick. Top of the list, Bones and Benga, Hugh Culber, Julian Bashir, Pulaski, down to Phlox, the Doctor, and then, sadly, Crusher. John Billingsley said something at the convention, something along the lines of, what species is he? He's a Denobulan? Denobulan. So we don't know how long they live or anything like that, and he might come back later.
Oh yeah, I did say that. Yeah.
He did say that. I would like that, even though his character was wishy-washy. I like the guy enough. I think Strange New Worlds, if they can sing their way through an episode, give him a cameo, man. And I don't think actually having him would put Mbenga in a spot where he can't cope. He seems to be a very grounded dude. So, he's probably the only one that I'd like to see come back, to be honest, but because I like John Billingsley.
My top one is EMH. I'm a really big fan. I love the EMH. It really is.
Strange. According to my readings, you are not here.
Believe me, I wish I weren't.
I don't have to say anymore. He's top. Joseph Banger. I've really grown to him as a character. Really love him. And with his military service, I do relate to a lot of the stuff, especially in that last episode when he was having flashbacks to the Klingon War. I just blew me away. Then my third is obviously McCoy. He's got to be in the top three of your list because he is the original. Then it's Pulaski. Again, Pulaski was very similar to McCoy, and she should have had so much more. We needed to see her at least a cameo again. She was just fantastic. Julian Bashir. You can't go wrong with Julian. He's just a steady character. What's not to like about him? Then you got I always forget his name, the Discovery name. What's his name?
Culber.
Yeah. Again, it's the same thing what you said. He deserves so much more as a character.
Yeah.
I feel that in Discovery, when they killed him off, they went, bugger, we shouldn't have done that. And they've kind of had to figure out how to bring him back. There was the biggest mistake when they killed him off the first series. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to go Phlox. It's Enterprise. I like Phlox.
That's really surprising, Penfold. I'm not going to lie that Phlox is that far down on your list.
Yeah.
But the problem is, but unfortunately, there is better characters. I mean, again, I love Enterprise, but there are stronger characters. I can't just if I did my love for Enterprise, my top character would always be another character. But there's such stronger Doctors. And then I'd probably go Crusher. Again, Crusher, she's steady, but when you after Crusher and all these other characters, they're just so much stronger. You can't really. I did think she was a lot better in Picard. I do think they really grew her, but she didn't really stand out, and I don't know why she didn't. But I think for me personally, I think Pulaski was a far better. And when they brought back Crusher, I was like, oh, there should have been two, but hey, here we are. And then probably my last one is that stupid parrot thing from Lower Decks. I just don't get it. No, it's not a parrot. It's a cat. It's a cat, isn't it? It's a cat. Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird.
You're fine. Just relax. I need a sedative over here. Here you go, doctor. What the are you doing here?
I think that cat thing is a lot like...
The cat thing's name is Dr. Ta'ana, by the way.
Dr. Ta'ana.
Okay.
So,
I just don't care. It's weird.
Sorry.
I don't like it. I don't like character.
Ranking Doctors is a strange one because in every series they've got a different emphasis and a different type of Doctor and a different approach. And ranking Doctors isn't like ranking series or ranking anything else. It is really different. But I've got I got a soft spot for John Billingsley. But I don't know what it is. What is it with the EMH? Why is he top of your list, Penfold? What?
The EMH is super popular with nearly everybody.
I think it's because it's a comedy value. We share the same kind of hairstyle. I like as soon as I see Robert Picardo, I think it probably is more Robert Picardo than the Doctor. But when I see him, I just smile.
Can I ask a quick question, right? So when they took Crusher out and they brought Pulaski in, does anyone know what the reason for that was? Because I don't actually know.
The actress won't talk about it.
Oh, she did. She got sacked. She got sacked basically because there was one of the big producers who was brought in by Gene Roddenberry from the original Star Trek, and they just didn't get on because he didn't like women, so he treated them badly. And she came from a background where she had a lot of input, because she came from a theatre background where her input was accepted and appreciated, and kind of they could work collaboratively. And she was strong as a character like that. So they kind of rubbed each other up the wrong way. And it came to a point where, as far as I know, the producer said, you need to get rid of her. And that's the end of it. And I think it was either she goes or I go. And so she went. But he went then in season 2 as well. During season 2, I think he left the show. And then it was the fans, actually. The fans, like Star Trek fans do, voice their opinions. And enough of them complained and were absolutely disgusted. They got rid of Dr. Crusher. That they fought to get her back. So that was part of it as well. And she was obviously offered it and accepted it. That's what I understand of it.
Also, the actress that played Pulaski, she was treated quite badly as well. That's why she never came back. And when she was asked in an interview, she wouldn't say what happened. She still won't.
She's never talked about it. She has. I have heard that she has said, "I would choose not to go back to Star Trek."
It's a shame. It's a shame. She's great.
She's an OG as well, isn't she? I mean, she's proper original series. Pedigree.
Yeah.
I could destroy you with a single thought.
Well, I think mine list is going to differ from some people's, I think. So at number 8, I've put Crusher. She's just all smiles and teeth and hair, and that's about it. It's nothing against gingers, Dan, honest.
I was wondering if that would come up. Look at Patch's face. He's like, I used to be one of those.
You just fucking tread carefully there, Chris. All right.
In fact, she only had one redeeming quality, and that was she really did give Wesley really good one of them, wasn't it? Go on, love. Do it again. That's the only redeeming quality. So at number 7, the cat doctor Tiana, however you want to pronounce it. I just don't get it. So at number 6, I've put Bashir. I just didn't like it. I like if I'm going to be seeing a doctor, I like a bit of professionalism there. I don't want someone going over going, oh wow, look at that, that's amazing. Has it always done that? Just no. Number 5, I've put Mbenga. What's not to like? I mean, he's a dad that really cares about his kid. To go to great lengths to save her life, basically. He's a badass. I mean, this guy he can throw a punch, this fella, and then treat you
1-to-1, man on man with a Klingon, and killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, after taking some drugs.
Yeah, loads of drugs, yeah.
Turned him into a psycho soldier.
I'll be honest, if I was going up against a Klingon, I'd need some drugs as well. So number 4, I've put Pulaski for the same reasons that everybody else has said, really. She doesn't take any shit. You know, if she tells you take these tablets twice a day, you don't take them twice a day, she's gonna know she ain't happy with you. Number 3, Phlox.
I'm a physician, not an engineer.
I get why people don't like him, but Billingsley really does put his heart and soul into that character as much as he can do. He doesn't get the best lines or the best stories, but he does put his heart and soul into that character, and it does come across. Number 2, the EMH. I know, again, Patches, you don't like him, but I find him funny. And then number 1, McCoy.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, Richie, please.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Bring respect back.
Yeah.
Sorry, JP. Well, number 1 is the EMH doctor for me. He's amazing, hilarious. I love his growth from the first episode being such annoying EMH to whole 7 seasons. He's brilliant. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's actually my favourite character in Voyager. That's how much I love him. He's brilliant.
Oh!
Hey.
And so, I
know I'm not popular putting him in at the bottom of my list, but if I wanted to be popular, I wouldn't be.
That's not the reason you're not popular, Patches.
No,
Number 2 for me is Dr. Bashir for DS9. I like him a lot. I think he's really annoying to begin with. Bit too over Gen Z at the beginning, which I do really like. You know, came too desperate, which I didn't like.
Maybe we could get together later for dinner. Or drink.
But also, his growth throughout the season, then him being genetically enhanced as well. I think that's a fascinating storyline as well. And I really like him. I think he's a brilliant doctor, very caring. I've got a lot of time for Bashir. Number 3 is Dr. Culber from Discovery. I think he's another brilliant doctor, superb counselor as well. I think you can talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
He empathizes with you, and he's superb every way. I think very highly of Culber. Number 4 is Dr. Mbenga. Can't say his name properly, Mbenga. Strange Two Worlds. Proper warrior guy as well. Can take care of himself, and just a brilliant doctor as well. Good mannerisms. I love his voice. I don't know. What did you say that? Was
great voice.
Yeah,
I love his voice. He's just.
It's like Rush is a great impression.
I don't know
Rush.
And his devotion to his daughter, I love he's fabulous. And the way he said goodbye to her, got me choked up as well, being a dad myself. He's just a brilliant actor as well. That guy's really, really, really touched you with his performances. I think quite highly of him. So
you'll be like me, Richie. I'm dying to know what happens with Mbenga in the series as Strange New Worlds unfolds. That's one of the storylines that I'm just glued to.
Brilliant character, such great casting. Such a brilliant character. I think got a lot of time for him. Number 5 is Dr. Crusher. Basically, I think she's okay. Nothing really special about her. Number 6 is Dr. Phlox. Basically, I'm not really a big Enterprise fan, but I like Phlox. But for me, doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. I find it a bit annoying. Number 7 is Dr. Pulaski. I'm sorry.
Wow!
And again, it's not for me. If I had to choose between,
mate, have you seen Star Trek?
Yeah.
That says you.
Freaking rich coming from you, Steve.
No offense.
You know what it is, right? You're really, really nice, and she's really, really mean. So it works. I see that.
I try to like her, but I just can't. I'm sorry.
See, she's an arsehole. I'm an arsehole. You're a nice guy, so you want someone nice, like the mate of Dr. Bashir. It works.
The reason why Bones is not on my list is because I haven't seen TOS. The only Trek I watch is TOS. That's why Bones. So I'll watch it eventually. I watch all Trek, but then watch TOS. I don't know why. Never got around to it.
You've got to watch TOS.
I watched The Cage. I watched 1 or 2 episodes, but I'll get around to watching it. But
Richie, you are in for. I'm so jealous. You're in for such a treat, man.
Okay, JP, I'll check it out. I hear.
Check it out.
All right,
good
who's
pick,
next?
Richie. Good picks.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
I'll go next.
Go on then, Brush.
Okay, I got 9 on my list.
9?
I got 9.
I've got
You got 14. You sound like Chelsea.
I've kind of like cut it down from 250.
Anyway, my bottom is Dr. Crusher. She's bottom of the list. I like the character in TNG and the sometimes flirtation with Captain Picard, but overall there was no growth in that character. They brought her back, and it was almost like, well, go on then, what are you going to do with her? And they just did nothing with her, which was unfortunate, really, I think, because the other characters got to have so much growth in the character. Everybody, most fans, really liked Dr. Crusher in season 1. They just really did like Dr. Crusher. Yeah. And so when they then immediately replaced her with what was a very opposite character, it was so jarring. As a viewer, you were a bit like, oh, I don't know if I like this. But now, years later, going back and watching it, she is a much better character. Like, I'll come to her in a bit because she's a bit higher up my list. But she was just, I'd be the opposite of what I considered as a viewer at the start, which is interesting. Okay. So number 8 on my list is Dr. Phlox. Even though I do really like the character, you've got to put him in an order. And I think he's the best character in Enterprise. And you all know how much I love Enterprise. So that's it.
Yay.
Yeah. I liked it. The parts I liked was the fact that he was very different from anything we'd seen before. And he was using animals and all these concoctions in his sick bay. And that brought something to his character. But again, they didn't really take him anywhere. And they didn't know where to... So there was no growth in that character. Number 7 is Dr. Culber. And again, I do really, really like the character, Dr. Culber. But I don't know. I think killing him in season 1 was an amazing choice because it was not expected at all. So actually watching as it was just like, it did happen. I was like, what have they just done? Oh my God, is this a flashback? And you're trying to come up with all these reasons why that just didn't happen in front of me. But they killed him. And that was that. And it was like, wow, that was a brave choice. So I loved that part, even though then I wanted the character back. And maybe, like somebody said, they realized they'd made a mistake, or it was already going to be part of that, character's arc, that he was going to come back from the dead. Season 2, I didn't like him a lot because I didn't think they dealt with him coming back from the dead and then his relationship. I don't know if they just dealt that in a way I was happy with. It could have been done a lot better. And then season 3 and 4, he was strong. He really did come out of himself, and he actually showed how important he was as part of the crew, and actually stronger than most of the crew. He was dealing with things a lot better than they were, and also having to deal with their issues of this, jumping 890 million years in the future, or whatever. So, yeah, he is low on my list, but I do like him. Number 6 is Pulaski. And so compared to Crusher, much better. She was only on board for 1 season, but the impact she had was tremendous compared to Dr. Crusher in 6 seasons. Yeah. And again, it's down to the writing. They did give her storylines. She was actually able to bring in storylines that included like Riker's father, that she knew him from the past. the way she was with Troy, because the first episode is the child where Troy's giving birth. And so I just thought she played that amazingly well. Obviously, her relationship with Picard and Data, where, first of all, she misunderstood Data, but comes around massively in one season.
Come on, Data, you can't let that pass.
Indeed, I cannot.
And then Picard and her are always going to have that relationship because they're very similar characters. And so I kind of liked that. It was bringing back Bones, because she was a bit like Bones. Number 5 on my list is Dr. T'Ana. Don't care if you don't like her, you bitches. I love Dr. T'Ana. It's the best character ever. Like I said, I fell in love with her immediately. I love the fact, for Star Trek, it is the most abrasive character, I think, that we see on screen, because she swears, she's angry, she's gruff, she's ruthless.
Who's the comedian in Disco that's the engineer that they find?
Jet Reno.
Yeah, very, very similar there.
Kind of, but then she gets, because it's animated, she gets to take it further and swear, and I don't know what they can do with the characters. Hysterical. I love the fact they've brought back, is it Kitane, the race, and it's nice to see that brought back, where that was originally brought in on, like, the animated series, wasn't it? TAS, yeah. And so, yeah, I fell in love with Dr. Arnold straight away. Number 4 is Bones for me. It was, I felt a bit like, oh, really? All the way down to number 4? But that is my choice, definitely. He's part of the, the amazing trio of characters that we all fell in love with, and that's what we knew of Star Trek, actually. I started watching TOS first, and so that's what I knew of Star Trek. And it was these 3 main characters bantering with each other, creating that kind of bond. The one thing I will say with Bones is you don't really learn a lot about him. You don't know much about his history and his past, even though he's been in all these films as well. Kirk and Spock were allowed to be given a load of backstory, whereas you don't really get that with Bones at all. So I think that's why he's a bit further down for me.
I think a notable mention for Bones is he's the guy that hands the baton over as well. He appears in...
Yes, you're right. And then that was really sweet. I really loved that moment in Encounter Farpoint, yeah. I like that they tried to do that with each series during that period as well. That you had Deep Space Nine, it was Picard, and then Quark. Quark, wasn't it, in Voyager.
Yeah.
So I like that they tried to do that. Number 3 on my list, Dr. Mbenga. Dr. Mbenga. He's got a sexy voice. That character, his voice, first of all, melts me, and he gives me my Trek tingles. Thank you very much. Joygasm! Oh, wow, yeah. Woohoo! I'm transported. Again, he's only been in, we've had 2 series, but it's 20 episodes. Pulaski was in more episodes than that, and she had a massive impact. But I think his impact and the change in his character arc, because he was this, I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize being able to look after my daughter in stasis. And so you never saw the side of his character that was going to be opposite to that. And then his daughter got her happy ending. He was able to move on. And then we started to see much more layers of his character. And, he is a badass and he is amazing. But he's also like a really good doctor, obviously, because he's head chief medical officer on the Enterprise. And I just think his character already has so many layers and backstory going that he's one of the best in Strange New Worlds, absolutely. And that's why he's like number 3 on my list. He's also, the actor is absolutely top-notch. He's an amazing actor. Yeah. That's one that I'm desperate now to meet in a convention is Babs. Babs! I can't wait to show Babs! Moving on to number 2, who is the Doctor. Voyager's the Doctor, which I told you, Patrick, everybody loves the Doctor. He's just hysterical. He comes up with all the best lines. And fair play, he comes up with them himself as well, people. I don't know if you knew that, but the actor, comes up with these himself. Amazing.
But his audition for that part was Johnny Cab, which is what he played.
No, when he auditioned for that part, I think they must have been amazed, first of all. They got him to audition. And I don't know if he was a shoo-in or if there was any other options, but you can tell from the beginning of Voyager, they kind of cottoned on to, we've got gold here. And he was the one that grew that character much more than the writers, I think. And then they caught up. And the way they were able to like give him an arc, you know, he did have that massive arc. I'm going to say the same about my top 2 here. It's like we do watch them grow from one being this one that's just turned on and is just a program that is supposed to be here for this one moment, so I can help you with this specific thing, and then get shut off and never see you again, hopefully. And then you've got my other one. I'll go straight into him. My top doctor is Bashir. Love Dr. Bashir.
Yes.
And he has got, I think, the best character arc of any doctor. And you do see him as this fresh face, just come out of the academy, chose this outpost on the edge of nowhere, and it was his choice to do that. And the glee and excitement that he shows in the early season is amazing. And I know he takes it overboard, but that's important that he does that as well, because he is fresh and got a clue what he's getting himself into, you know what I mean? Doesn't realise he's upsetting people by saying to them, oh yeah, you live in the back of beyond. And Kira's like, the f*** did you just say? Do you know where I Major Kira? And just all of it. And he grows so much and adds so much depth, actually, not just to his character, but to the whole series, I feel.
Yeah.
I think that's why I chose him, because that one character gave us Garak almost, gave us a massive relationship. It didn't give us the character maybe, but it gave us a massive link to a relationship with Garak. It gave us holodeck programs that were so much fun, his 007 programs. It gave us Vic Fontaine, which I love as a character.
I'm Vic Fontaine, and tonight is going to be a gas.
Gave us, you know, that when he then was outed because he was genetically enhanced as a kid, I just think that it didn't irritate me like it did some people, I understand, but it just enhanced his character even more and gave us reason to understand why he was, even when he was younger, why he was like that, you know, then. And he also gave us Section 31. He gave us that link into that. You know, that character, for me, added so much, or they used his character in a way to bring so much into Deep Space Nine. He's definitely top of my list.
Okay, I'll just quickly, I've just realised I forgot the doctor off my list. There was a number 9 right at the bottom, and that was Culber.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because it's the way he nods along and agrees with you, and then does a sideward head shake when he still agrees with you, right? So he kind of does this. He goes, I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think now's the right time. It really does great.
I also rate the actor. I think, and in conventions, he's amazing. I would love to meet him. I never got to meet him in the destination I was in, but he is like such a fan himself, and he adores how much we appreciate them.
Wilson Cruz.
And he's like, he's like the leader of the Discovery. When he's on stage with all of them, he stands out, and he's the one that kind of cajoles them into this way, or if somebody stops talking, he'll pick it up. He's a proper, he's really, really
it's the same as John Billings, he's a showman. I think Wilson Cruz, if that panel's really dying, bombing, and it's getting stale, and everyone's looking at each other like this ain't really working, he'll just bang. He'll pick it right back up. I love that about him.
And he's gorgeous. He's well. He is very attractive.
Yeah.
Marie, did you want to do your doctors?
I'll be honest, I haven't really looked at them.
That's fine. I just wasn't sure if you got a list that you wanted to run through or not. But if not, don't, you know, there's no.
But I do aspire to be like them in my career.
Yeah. You recently, you achieved something in your career recently, didn't you, Marie? If I remember correctly.
Yes, I graduated as a mental health nurse. Yes.
Well done.
Should we all have a congratulations, Pat?
Thank you.
Congratulations, Marie.
Well done, mate.
Thank you. I got a first as well in my degree.
Oh, did you? Well done.
Brilliant. They give her
Aspires
inspiration.
to be like all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they aspire to be like Marie as well.
Yeah, because at work I do use Star Trek a lot. At work.
Right.
So yeah, that's my identity there.
Yeah, she's got a replicator.
There's a lot of room in Star Trek for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in Star Trek. There's a lot of good advice, a lot of good lessons. A friend of mine said to me, I had a dilemma, and he said to me, what would Picard do? And that's
how Dan lives his life.
Yeah,
yes.
There we go.
Well, I went mad, mate.
Oh, God, I'm having 54.
You know, I went through Dr. stuff, Dr. Frankenfurter.
Oh, my shit.
Dr. Frankenstein out of Young Einstein.
That's the best film ever made. But no, we're on Star Trek here.
See what I mean about the tangent he went on? See what I mean?
No. Oh, and you had to, well, I'm glad you had to deal with that. Edit it out.
Dr. Rumack out of Airplane, you know.
He even quoted Dr. Egon Spengler.
Yeah.
Stands to Dr. Peter Venkman, and I'm like, you can't have them.
Dr. Emmett Brown.
Emmett Brown. Great Scott.
Dr. Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai, yeah.
I put on the bottom Dr. Phil Boyce.
Okay.
Ah, very good. Yeah.
It's on tangent.
And the only reason why I put Dr. Phil Boyce at the bottom because he was in the pilot series and he was that was.
And he was,
okay.
It was just a
I completely missed that.
I'll give him an honourable mention. I've even put Dr. Antak. He was the only Klingon doctor you ever saw in Star Trek, and that was in Enterprise with Phlox. I'm not. I'm going to do it, but I put Dr. Morapole because he was a fucking arsehole to Odo. All right, bottom of my list, Crusher.
Bottom of mine too.
Sorry, sweet, but no. All because she spouted out Wesley Crusher, and I don't like Wesley Crusher neither. But the characters.
Jealousy gets you nowhere.
Jealous of Wesley? What the
But no, I don't like Beverly Crusher. She's too wishy-washy for me. I preferred Pulaski. After that, I put the cat because I've never seen I've not seen it.
We've never watched Lower Decks.
So
But wait a minute, you put her there above somebody, but you've never seen them. So you like Dr. Crusher less than somebody you've never seen before.
Top of my list, EMH.
Yes.
Sorry.
We'll get it done together. I'm number one EMH as well.
I'm sorry, John, but
I'm number one.
I'm EMH.
EMH.
Then after EMH is Mbenga. I love Mbenga. After Mbenga, I've got Bashir.
Yeah.
Our man Bashir.
I think Bashir's brilliant. He's been in some really good episodes, especially Garrick. After that is Bones, because it's Bones. And I think they went through more of Bones' character in the films than what they ever did in the TV series.
Yeah.
After Bones, I've got Phlox. I love Phlox because he's the only doctor who'll stick a leech on you. Then after that, I've got Pulaski. Pulaski's great. I like all the doctors, to tell you the truth. Then I've got Hugh Culber. I cut off Doctor Strangelove and Doctor Evil and because I just went mad. Shut up.
Just getting
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Go on then, Dave.
Everyone's going to take this at me going, you know nothing.
No one took
invite you. Just do it.
First, EMH.
EMH, see, told you.
Because Robert Picardo in real life is just as brilliant as he is. I don't know if he is acting, to be honest with you, because he's like real life, you know.
You think it's a real hologram?
No, I mean, the personality, the character.
Oh, trust me, it's not a hologram. I've seen it.
Dead. 2, Bones McCoy, because he's McCoy and he's got the magic pill, so he's right up there for me.
What's the matter with you?
Kidney dialysis.
Dialysis? My God, what is this, the Dark Ages? Here, you swallow that. And if you have any problems, just call me.
Was 3, Bashir, just because he's very good at what he does, and he's very sweet, and he's very personable. Do you know what I mean? He's got a lovely bedside manner. He's got a lovely nature to him. He's just a lovely person, and he's got all his friends are very eclectic. I mean, from Garrick to O'Brien, are you mad?
That's one of the criteria that I put. Like, if I wanted to go and see a doctor, or I wanted to hang out with one of these characters, who would it be? And that's why I just wouldn't want to hang out with the MH. I mean, seriously, would you want to hang out with him? Would you want to talk to him?
I wounn't want to hang out with him at all because I would murder him.
Would you not even have a board game night with him?
4, you don't batter me. Crusher.
That's fine. I know loads of people who love Crusher.
Yeah, but she's the mother of Wesley. If we didn't have her, we wouldn't have lovely, lovely Wesley. 5 was Hugh Culber. 6, Pulaski. Find her a little bit abrasive and a bit abrupt and a bit nasty. 7, I've got Phlox because I've never seen Enterprise, so I don't really know the character. 8, Mbenga, just because. Doctor, how can he be a doctor after everything he's done filthy, violent, nasty, evil, murdering. Oh my God. He's got no remorse or anything. He's like, oh yeah, you're the Klingon warrior that did the massacre and everything. And then you find out it was him that did it. And it's like, what? Why?
Oh, that's an amazing storyline. I love that.
Do you know what? I find it absolutely fascinating, and Benga comes really, really high on the list. And we've all seen him just murder people in cold blood, and we're okay with that, actually.
Except for more.
Except for you, Dee.
Oh, you so much. You got such high morals.
And the last one, none of you named her, but from Picard, Jurata.
I didn't know who to make the Doctor. She was more of a scientist, wasn't she? So I didn't pick anybody for Picard.
Well, it just said Dr. Agnes Jurata, so I thought I'd better sling her in there. But why?
Sling her in.
Sling her in. She makes up the number to 9.
Listening to you guys has been really interesting because Pulaski never, ever, ever comes high on my list, but Crusher does. But
that's because you fancy the pants off her.
No, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of my opinions on the Doctors, like those snap decisions are made on just those early, like thoughts I had about them. And the truth is, when I was when Dee had a crush on Wesley, I had a crush on Wesley's mum when I was a teenager. And I really like Crush, and it's only now when I look back I realise that there was no real character development to her. I think Steve put it best. I can't remember what he said now, but he just basically said that there was nothing. Yeah, there was nothing to her, which is a shit. And it's not Gates McFadden's fault. It's just the fact that the script's crap, and it's the same with I think Geordie and Troy also never ever got developed. I mean, Geordie had the advantage of at least having an interesting job, right? So Geordie had that at least. It was engineering, and that was because Geordie was one of my favourite characters along with Data because it was engineering, and I liked all that. Yeah. So Pulaski was quite low on my list because I think people fixate with the early Pulaski when she first comes in, and she is abrasive and she's nasty to Data, which is almost a cardinal thing because everybody who watched TNG really loved Data. He was really the main character, I think, for a lot of people, including me when I first watched it. And the fact that she was mean to him to start with, it's like, oh, you've kind of pulled the shutters down on Pulaski. Whereas towards the end, and I can't remember, it might have been Patches was saying it, the holodeck program, she actually made efforts to spend time with him, and from spending time with him, she developed a relationship with him, and there was a genuine fondness there. The amount of character development Pulaski had in that one season was way more than Crusher had throughout all the seasons and the movies and Picard season 3. So I've completely. Just through listening to you guys, it really made me reassess what I think of the Doctors. I'm still not ranking them, but it has made me reassess it. And Benga's interesting. It's not one of my favourite Doctors because it killed that Klingon in cold blood. I know it sounds daft, but I'm very Starfleet and God, I know shouldn't be there. But
that's what's happened.
No, I guess not. But true, we didn't see anything. But he's a really, really interesting character. So I just love him as a character. And like Patches was saying, I think it was Patches. It's always Patches. It's always the Nebula. It's always the Nebula. I want to see the rest of his story, so I want Strange New Worlds to continue to see him, if nothing else. And I actually forgot all about his child in stasis, and that was really quite heartbreaking. I remember at the time that was really quite, heartbreaking just watching that story, and it was brilliant. So that's all I'll say about Mbenga. Did I have notes about anybody else? Oh yeah, do you know, like sometimes you really struggle to separate a character from the actor. You assume the actor's like the character, especially if the character's an absolute bastard. Well, I've got it the other way around now because Phlox is a Doctor that I never really warmed to, but I love him now. But it's because I love John Billingsley. Again, I knew it was Patches that said it because he referenced me. Well, at the convention when he won me over, and all of a sudden, Phlox became a character I love watching, even though I don't think the character's great because of Billingsley. But my favourite Doctor, and the one that I will pick if I needed to be treated for something, is EMH.
Oh, yes. Come on.
I think it's one of my favourite characters in Star Trek.
In your face.
In your face, Patches. And I also if I was being treated for something, right, if something happened to me, I would want the guy who's plugged into the entire medical database and is not going to get tired. He could do a 40-hour operation. He wouldn't, So I think medically speaking is the best. But also, I would love to spend time with EMH because to start with, he was a bit of a dick. I mean, he's always a bit of a dick to us, but that's kind of part of his appeal. And I just like his character development, and I don't spend time with him.
Here, then?
Like, I understand what you mean. It's part of the appeal when you're watching him do it to other people. If he ever was around me and was like that, I would want to kill him. I think I just find him quite amusing. I do, but so and then you'd be like, F off.
EMH reminds me of another kind of artificial life form. It kind of reminds me of Crichton to an extent.
May I remind you of Space Corps Directive 34124?
34124. No officer with false teeth should attempt oral sex in zero gravity.
It's got a bit of a Crichton vibe to me. So let's pick an episode. Can I? I've got one. I've got one I want to suggest, but I think people are just going to go, "Oh no, go watch that one."
Yeah, well, we do that all the time.
It's not the singing one.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing.
Oh.
No way!
I think we should. I think we should. I think that'd be funny as.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be really funny to do.
Come on, hang on.